Welcome to another episode of the CPG Guys podcast. Our co-hosts, Sri Rajagopalan and Peter V.S. Bond, explore how brands and retailers engage with consumers online, in-store, and everywhere in between. And now, here are Sri and Peter. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the CPG Guys podcast. I'm your co-host, Peter V.S. Bond. I'm also the Vice President of Retail Strategy at PowerReviews. And as always, I am joined by my co-host. He is an e-commerce luminary. He is an entrepreneur. He is the Fred to my Ginger, the Baskin to my Robbins, the eggs to my bacon. He's known by only one name. Please join me in welcoming Sri. Sri, how you doing? And look, we're together today. Living the dream.
And so the only reason we do this show together is Peter has 1,000 of these. You're the Fred to my Ginger,
all on my iPad.
And we are on 68 or 70 right now, and I want to get to the end. I want to run the marathon.
Dude, you're going to be 85 before I run out of
I'll get patient.
You'll be very old.
I'm going to live that long.
Thanks for joining me. We've got a very special guest today.
Pleasure to do this with you.
Before I introduce our guest, let me remind our audience that if you want to find any of the content that we produce, be it on LinkedIn, on YouTube, our podcasts, our list of preferred podcasts, and even the glossary of industry terms that we're producing, what you want to do is go to cpgguys.com. That's cpgguys.com. And if you like what you're hearing, particularly on the podcast, we'd love it if you went to Apple Podcast and gave us a rating there. You can find that very easily by just going to tinyurl.com/Apple CPG podcast. All right. So we're getting close to the holidays. And it's a very different holiday season than it's ever been before. Pandemic has dramatically affected it. So we need to turn to an expert who knows a lot about this from an insights perspective. Now, my company, as you all know, is PowerReviews. And just recently, PowerReviews issued an attitudinal study that was conducted very recently, and it relates to the consumer holiday shopping sentiment. And to help us dissect this particular report, and it's available at PowerReviews.com, is my good friend and colleague, Carol Krakowski. Carol, how are you today?
Hi, guys. It's great to be here. I'm doing great. Still home,
Excellent. We're in Jersey. She's in New York. So we're just across the river from each other. But in any event, Carol,
Sri crossed the bridge to talk to somebody from New York.
I know. What's up with that? Go figure. I came to Connecticut to do this. Anyhow, Carol, why don't you tell us a little bit about PowerReviews? Because I don't talk too much about that. Not enough in my book, but why don't you tell a little bit about PowerReviews and specifically what you do at PowerReviews?
Sure. Yeah. So PowerReviews is an online ratings and reviews company. It's SaaS-based. We're powering the ratings and reviews on e-commerce sites that you find online. So you buy a shirt, you go online, you look at what the ratings and reviews say before you buy it. We're the code that powers that for you. It's the second most important factor in a purchasing decision, second only to price. So really key to the online journey. And we do everything from helping you collect more reviews, making sure that you've got the right content displayed, getting better reviews, and all the way through kind of analyzing that content and better understanding what it says.
I didn't realize prior to listening to Carol that it literally meant power your reviews, PowerReviews.
PowerReviews. They're powerful reviews.
Powerful reviews.
PowerReviews.
Pretty cool.
Carol, what is your role in this grand ecosystem?
Yes. I'm the director of insights. I'm a particular expert on all of our analytics products, and I work really closely with our marketing team on all the thought leadership content that we put out. Brilliant.
So PowerReviews has just released a holiday consumer report for 2020. It's an attitudinal study, correct me if I'm wrong. And what you're going to do is help us dissect that. So we got a bunch of questions about this, and we know you've got answers. So Sri, fire up the spotlight, get it nice and hot, aim it right in Carol, and we're going to start grilling her. Sound good?
I am ready, sir.
All right. Why don't you before we get into that, let's just talk kind of at a 30,000 foot level. What are the kind of insights? Because we think about generating a rating or review, and then we just put it on a product page. But there's so much more to that. What kind of insights does PowerReviews offer to its clients and to both retailers and brands that is above and beyond just the display of the rating and review or an image or a video?
Yeah, I mean, Peter, you're asking questions that are obviously near and dear to my heart. Maybe not obvious to your listeners, but certainly obvious to you because we work on the stuff together all the time. But one of the most exciting capabilities that we have at PowerReviews really comes back to analytics, which is not just helping you get that content on your site, but understanding what your customers are saying about your products and how they feel about it, what they like, what they don't like, so that you can make smart business decisions based on real customer feedback. It's one of the coolest things we do. We use natural language processing to help power it. And beyond that, we can not only do that with the content that you're collecting on your own site, but we can actually go out and scrape content from anywhere on the internet and give you that insight, similar insight, but based on your own products, your competitors' products, whatever's out there and publicly available, we can ingest that and help you make better business decisions with that information.
And Carol, the information that you're getting in reviews, essentially that's customer feedback. That is no different than the kind of content you would as a marketer typically get from something like a focus group.
It's power information.
Yeah.
And I would almost argue that it's even more powerful than that because it's contextualized specifically to the products that your customers are reviewing, right? They're not just telling you how they feel about your brand. They're not just going on and on about, some random customer experience that they had. They're telling you specifically how they're using your products and the items that they bought from you, what they like about them and what they don't like. And it's just such an incredible source of data, and it's all contextualized for you with things like a star rating, and then all the sentiment and stuff that you can get into when you get into the commentary as well. So it's really powerful.
I've told this story before, but when I went to see Sri at Revlon before he emerged in his new launch of business, which is ZenFuel, when is ZenFuel launching? October
7th.
Yes, wonderful new product line. But I asked Sri how he made sense of all those ratings and reviews. And he said to me, I get a couple summer interns, I put them into a room, and I give them a couple computers, and I ask them to do a summer project. Of course, that's not scalable, nor is it objective.
That's not PowerReviews.
No, that's just reviews. But what Carol is saying is we've been able to essentially produce at scale objective analysis and curation of all this content, so it doesn't require two people reading as much as they can and coming back with some anecdotal presentation, right?
Certainly not an intern who wants that job offer at the end of the summer, right? They're biased to make you look good. That's exactly right. And it's objective in that, you don't have a human putting in kind of their own thoughts and feelings into that feedback. It's just being interpreted as it is and serving it up for you to analyze.
All right, Sri?
So first of all, welcome to the show. This is part of a series in October 2020 Peter and I are doing on the CPG Guys called Women in CPG Leadership. So welcome to the show as one of our featured women in CPG leadership. So
you get a certificate and everything at the end of this,
absolutely.
Carol.
Wonderful. Can I get a t-shirt?
And you get a funny hat too, which is really great. We have to make those up.
Peter has a funny hat. I don't know where it went.
I don't know.
So it says the Dodgers on it. That's why it's funny.
Oh, you mean the first place division leading, league leading, everything Dodgers, those guys?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
what matters is who wins the World Series.
All right.
So I want to come back to what is now feels like a distant memory, which is the PowerReviews report that you guys are producing for the holidays, which has already been released and I have actually already read. Some curiosity questions that I have are, how did you go about creating this report? What's the sample size? Because in insights, that matters a lot. If it's a sample size of 20, just like the intern example we gave, I'm not so confident of the results.
That's the problem with focus groups, 20 people.
I'd love to learn that. As well as, could you give us the highlight color commentary on what's in this report?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll start with sample size because that's of keen interest, I know, to everybody. We have over 5,000 respondents that replied to this survey. 5,383 to be exact. The pool of people that we're sourcing from are...
That's a true insights person.
Yeah.
5,383, not 5,383 and a half.
That's more than, that's more than most political polls going on right now in the presidential election. That is a good sample size. Big number.
But sorry to interrupt.
It's a big number. It also represents every single state. At least for the US survey, we've also got UK and Canadian surveys, but I'm not going to get into that today because that would take a whole nother podcast episode. But it's over 5,000 respondents, and we're sourcing these people from a community of active shoppers that we work with in terms of helping people who want to maybe get some more ratings and reviews on their site. We go out to this community of people. We call them active shoppers who like reviewing products. We know that they're interested in online shopping. So it's a really relevant group of people for the type of insights that we're trying to understand, which is how do people feel and how do these shoppers feel about the upcoming holiday season? What are they going to do in terms of holiday shopping?
All right.
Want to guess who has it saved on his phone?
Oh, I think
his iPad, the computer.
Yeah.
And has a printout too in his backpack.
Wow.
I wonder who that is.
I don't know. Anyhow. All right, Carol, you've told us what it is and how big it is. Let's top line it. What are some of the big insights that came out of this report?
Definitely. So there's 3 big takeaways from my perspective anyway. So the first is shoppers are still planning to shop this holiday season. We've had a rough year in terms of the economy with everything from the pandemic, but 73% of shoppers said they plan to either maintain or increase their holiday shopping spend this coming year, which
wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah, bigger than I was expecting, certainly. And the second thing is that more shopping than ever is going to take place online. This is maybe not so surprising. All shopping seems to be moving online, particularly given the pandemic. But I still think the magnitude is worth repeating. 64% of our shoppers said they plan to do more shopping online than they did the year before. Sure. And despite all of that, I think the third takeaway for me was the store's not dead yet. We are still seeing that 30% of our shoppers said they had absolutely no concerns whatsoever when it comes to shopping in store. So I think the message for kind of brands and retailers out there is they just need to be prepared to meet their shoppers wherever the shoppers want to be. There's going to be all kinds of cross-channel shopping that we've got today. Shoppers they've gotten better at working online. They're a little bit more savvy with how those PDPs work when they maybe weren't before. And so it's really just about being able to meet them wherever they plan to do their shopping. And they're probably going to be doing a little bit more online research when they are going in store, or vice versa. So I think one of the cool takeaways is just kind of that it's that acceleration, bringing everything together that we've seen around holiday shopping, omni-channel, if you want to call it.
What I hear you saying is that the reports of retail apocalypse for brick and mortar are still greatly exaggerated.
I think so. There's still stuff.
One thing we universally agree on: this whole word retail apocalypse needs to evaporate from the ecosystem. What I may even subscribe in a dimly lit room is the remote theory that there's a store apocalypse.
Yeah.
This will start to be by Michael Zakor, who is a consultant in this space. Mm-hmm. Yeah, stores are closing, but retail is never going to, it's one of the biggest parts of our GDP.
All right.
So here's a question. I want to go back to the actual insights in the report, and which has to do with surprises. So I don't know what's a bigger surprise for me, that 73% of those surveyed are saying that they're going to spend the same or more, or there's 37%, if I heard you correctly, that are saying they have no problems going back into a store and there's nothing going on. I don't know which one is the bigger surprise, but if I flip that to you and I asked you, was there any one big thing in the survey and insights that came out of it that was a total surprise to you? Is there any such one thing other than the 2 I mentioned?
Yeah, so those 2 are relatively obvious surprise, or obvious. I agree. I was surprised by both of those numbers as well. The thing that I think is a little bit less obvious that was surprising to me, and then when you put it in the context of the world that we're living in, I do think it starts to make sense, but is that shoppers seem to be prepared to shop earlier this year. So we asked shoppers, when are you planning to start your shopping versus last year, earlier or later? 24% of shoppers said they plan to start earlier, which is not a huge number. But when you look at when they actually plan to start, we actually asked them groupings of dates. 41% of shoppers said that they plan to get their holiday shopping started before the end of September, which I think is
really early.
A little shocking.
Does Halloween become the new Black Friday?
Maybe.
We're calling it Orange Sunday, if you haven't heard it yet.
No, I'm in e-commerce and I didn't hear the term Orange Sunday. Can you tell us a little bit, is that a real term, and then why Orange Sunday?
Yeah, so I think it's this concept of, given the lockdowns, given social distancing, trick-or-treating, Halloween is just less of a thing. And so the new launch for holiday promotions and advertising and all of that stuff starts basically the Sunday after Halloween, which Halloween's a Friday this year, so it's just 2 days later. They're calling it Orange Sunday. I think it's a real term.
But is that it's also, remember, when is Prime Day this year? It's October 19th?
October 10th.
October 10th.
10.
So maybe it's a little bit earlier, but all of this is just, you're right. It is really accelerating the beginning of the holiday shopping season.
Wow. That is a surprise.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off there, but I think that it's really exciting for retailers from that standpoint, right? Like, they've been trying to get shoppers to shop earlier for years, ever since UPS or FedEx or whoever it was kind of missed their holiday deadlines with, Amazon conditioning everybody into 2-day shopping. Like, that's been the dream. And it just feels like this is a real opportunity for them this year to actually take advantage of this kind of shifted appetite for spending.
For me, Carol, one of the really salient points of the research was the optimism that consumers seem to express in their willingness to spend as much or more for next year. What are your thoughts behind this optimism, especially given the fact that we're facing so much unemployment compared to where we were this time last year?
Yeah, we talked about how that was a big surprise. I completely agree, and it's another kind of bright spot for retailers in this report. I don't think we have like the perfect answer as for why that might be happening. We have some hypotheses. One is just generally kind of this concept of the resilience of the holiday spirit, and like a little bit of optimism, just generally a bright spot to look forward to. Everybody's ready to leave 2020 behind, and like the holidays is one way to do that. So the more you do that, it makes you feel a little bit normal. Another thing I think that could be behind this is just sort of a lack of spending on experiences. It's not like you're traveling. It's not like you're maybe, like some people are going to restaurants. Some people are, all that stuff is kind of in flux still. So that's another one. And then I think something that the data at least helps to support is when you look at who is optimistic in terms of and planning to spend more. So we saw it was 19% of our respondents expected to increase their spend this coming holiday season relative to last year. When you look at that breakdown by age, we actually see 38% of shoppers under the age of 24 are planning to increase their their spending this year. Yeah. And for the next, 25 to 34, that was 23% as well. So those are definitely both above average consumers who are getting back into, and I don't know if that's like a resiliency thing with kind of these younger generations, but again, the takeaway being, if you're a brand that markets to Gen Z or millennials, like there's definite opportunity to kind of capture that holiday spending dollar.
I love the point about the shifting spending priorities. I'm not going to spend on the travel, and so I'm going to reallocate it. I would say to anyone who's actually thinking about traveling, I would just warn you that there is an impact that this is having on the economy. And it's this: if you do decide to travel to somewhere, say an island, when you get there, you may not have available to you the kind of resources and services, the restaurant selection that you would typically find in a non-pandemic world. So you may not even get the kind of value or experience that you're looking for out of that. So I can see why people are saying, well, I'm just going to bank on what I can do, which is within my control. And that's more about the gifts and products that I'm getting for my family and loved ones.
Are you therefore saying that when I go back home to an island today, I got to watch it?
Yeah.
Wow.
You got it.
Oh, I wonder if I can get access to those restaurants you referred to.
I don't know.
So
I think Manhattan's a different kind of island.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I'm learning, live and learn every day.
All right.
So, Carol, I want to, there are a couple things you said in there in terms of numbers, which for the first time I hear someone in Insights actually talking about the below 25-year group as a serious cohort that owns a wallet, and you gave a number of 23% rise in how much they're going to spend, when they're going to spend, things of that nature. So listening, in the 20 minutes we've talked so far, a lot of data and insights and numbers have already been shared, that if people have been listening to the numbers, the question that's popping up in people's mind is, with this change in the retail habits and these consumers kind of talking through how they want to spend, when they want to spend, earlier spend, different age cohort, they can't really go to travel, therefore they have some extra money in their pocket with those savings to invest in the holiday season. How should retailers, in your mind, adapt and get ready for this holiday season? Vanilla, same as last year. This blueprint really doesn't change because there's a mad rush and you know what to do? Or are we doing something different this year in 2020?
Yeah, I love that. Wow, great question. So one of the things that we've seen when we're talking, I talked about this a little bit at the top, but this concept of cross-channel shopping being kind of the new normal is, I think, really powerful.
Omnichannel.
Yeah, omni-channel. I sort of hate the word omni-channel, but I know that everybody uses it, so I'm happy to.
That's the name of our podcast, and we changed it.
Consumer engagement in an omni-channel world.
I remember that. That was a good podcast. Anyhow,
CPG guys is much catchier, so
easier to brand, easier to say.
I wouldn't know anything about branding. So sorry.
No, he's not a brand guy. He's just a sales guy.
So I think that just being able to meet your customers where they want to be is really kind of the big takeaway. You want to be, any holiday report that's come out in the last 5 years has talked about how BOPIS, or buy online, pick up in store, is going to change the world. And it hasn't necessarily, but everybody was forced to get on board with that during the pandemic, right? We saw curbside pickup explode in suburban areas. We've seen people who didn't offer that stuff before get on board with that. So I think seeing just that adoption and this awareness of, I can do both, I can make this more convenient for me. I think all of that is just kind of percolating around in these consumers' minds, and they're taking that forward into their ongoing shopping habits. A third of the shoppers that we talked to actually said that they think their shopping habits have changed forever as a result of some of the changes they made due to COVID-19. So it's really just being comfortable with where your shoppers are and meeting them where they want to be. And to that end, I'm biased towards the e-commerce space, obviously, because of my work, but the making sure that your product pages have all of the details that a shopper needs to buy it so that they don't have to touch and feel it online. Having things like ratings and reviews available so that shoppers can get that social proof and understanding of what people like and dislike about a product before they go ahead and buy it.
I like that word, making sure you're socially proofed.
Yeah.
It's a really important concept. And, other studies have shown that shoppers trust strangers on the internet somehow. So it's
never met them, but I trust their opinions because they've tried the product.
Yeah, definitely. So I think as much as you can do to kind of give your shoppers all of the information in all of the various channels, I think that also incorporates, bringing those things into the store shopping experience as well. I think pulling all of those things together is really what makes for the most seamless shopping experience and kind of helps retailers and brands get to where they need to be.
I know Shri agrees with me that the pandemic has actually been very beneficial to a whole bunch of consumer goods categories, notably food and beverage, particularly the ones that are more focused on retail and less focused on food service. They've seen explosive numbers. So there's been good news for them. There's been good news for grocery retail. Where is there any bad news for brands or retailers that you're seeing coming out of the insights from this survey that they should be concerned about?
Yep. So we did ask shoppers, what factors are they considering when they're making these purchases, and price is still the number one thing. I think even our partners who we've spoken with are expecting a highly promotional holiday season. So just being prepared to compete on price is definitely going to be part of it. Hopefully you can offset that a little bit with some of this earlier spend. But I think that's, a promotional environment is never good news for retailers. But that's definitely a hard truth, I think, no matter what in these times.
Yeah, there are two forces butting up there. They're looking for value, but they're also looking for additional services by going through click and collect and home delivery.
Right.
And those are at odds with each other. So who's going to break? That's the question.
Absolutely.
No one breaks.
I hope no one breaks.
Because again, the reason I say that is because retail is a fairly large percent of our GDP, and the moment that breaks, we have other problems that come up in terms of employment, etc. So speaking of retail and not breaking it, earlier you said, and I think we've addressed this only at the surface level, 30% of shoppers surveyed say they have no problems going inside a store and continuing with the shopping habits they have. So I can imagine they're queuing up for Black Friday, although these are going to be smaller queues, socially distanced queues, things of that nature. But that means there's 70% who are going to shop a different way. That's a whopping large number. Yes?
Yes, definitely.
What would you tell retailers? You talked a little bit about social proof. How do you deal with this other 70% number to get ready? Yes, you got to do the social proof, but the world of internet shopping, aka e-commerce, is so much more than social proof. Like I see social proof as low-hanging fruit. If you don't do it, you're not in the game. That's your qualifier. So social proof brings you in to compete. Now what?
Yeah, I mean, even just getting shoppers' attention is important, and being able to adapt. I mean, the other thing, there's 70% of folks are concerned about going into the store. Some of that is just making them feel okay about going into store. Curbside pickup and requiring other customers to wear masks were the two most important factors that our shoppers cited when we asked them what they needed to do to feel better about going in. So e-commerce, while growing wildly, is still a relatively small percentage of the overall retail spend. So being prepared with your stores as much as you can. I can't imagine what a socially distant Black Friday line looks like, but it's definitely going to be a thing. It'll be really interesting.
Why Walmart said we're not going to open on Thanksgiving or Black Friday, right?
I can't get my 70-inch $99 Sony Bravia TV anymore.
You can order that online.
$99?
Well, that'll be an issue. It's a traffic driver. That's the problem is when you're in the digital cart, can you build the basket as much as you can when they're in a physical store?
Which is very difficult to do online.
It is.
It is, but that's the other piece of it too, right? You want shoppers to be able to shop on their phones. They need to be able to shop all over. Like it's really, now that our consumer is comfortable with online shopping as a concept, they're taking it with them everywhere. So being prepared kind of with mobile friendly sites and, I'm obviously biased about ratings and reviews, but all of those things kind of contribute to making a friendly experience for your customer.
Why do you guys care about ratings? And both of you mention it quite often, ratings and reviews.
I know. You'd think
what's going on?
It's crazy. Well, actually, that's my next question, Carol, which is what does all of this mean to PowerReviews as it seeks to give counsel to its clients and to the brand and retail community on UGC? User-generated content is the term.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I thought it's...
That's ratings, reviews, anything that a consumer generates, an image, a video that's about the products that they're buying.
How would I know?
So
I thought it's UGG.
UGG.
UGG
No, those are shoes.
UGC.
They're a client. No, UGG
That's
is
UGG.
UGG is a shoe company. They're a client of ours. They're a client of ours. No, but Carol, what are we taking from this that we're helping advise our clients on?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons we did this study was because we generally seek to be good thought leaders, good partners for our customers, and any information that we can collect that can help them make better decisions is going to put us in a better place to advise them and counsel them as they go forward. I think it's, we do bring up UGC ratings and reviews a lot. It is cited as the second most important factor in a purchase.
Not surprised.
Second only to price. I mean, when you think about your own habits, everybody does it, right? You're reading that content. So, we know that ratings and reviews are crazy important. Any growth in e-commerce, of course, is going to be good for us as a business, but I think that lends us with a certain amount of responsibility to be able to help our customers kind of do the right thing, make better decisions. That's part of why we launched our analytics capability when we did, so that we could get customers access to that information so that they can better, fortify their own businesses.
Carol, this sounds like a pretty great report and very detailed. What are we charging clients for this? It's got to be some astronomical number.
Actually, Peter, if I could piggyback on that one and ask one last question, which is not only what are you charging, is it astronomical? How do you plan to share this? Is it you have to go to a LinkedIn post? Is that the only way to find it?
You have to talk to a salesperson.
How do you actually get this report? Sri has it on his mobile device.
Well, that's because I gave it to you.
You had the hookup. None of the above. This is absolutely free, available on our websites. We believe in disseminating good, smart information. So PowerReviews.com. If you go to the resources section of our website, you'll find this along with all other kinds of really awesome insights that we've been collecting. Widely available.
So if I ask you for our audience, if there's one big message you want to leave them with, or one big insight you want to leave them with, which one would you pick and what would it be?
Oh man. So I gave you the 3. So if I had to narrow it down to one, I think it's got to be sort of that bringing together the cross-channel experience for your shoppers. The holidays are
sound shopping.
Yeah. So the holidays are here to stay. They're not going away, but you got to be able to meet your customer where they want to be, and they're going to be more.
I wonder how many will.
You go where your customers are, not where you want them to go.
Are you saying brand should put customer and shopper at the middle?
Oh my God.
Consumer?
Yeah.
What a novel concept.
That's good. I know. We're sorry. This is just us, Carol. You stepped into a hornet's nest. But we're greatly appreciative. What is? I assume that this is the first in what we hopefully will be a trending of insights in future holiday seasons, so that we have something to benchmark against.
Absolutely, we thought this was about a better year than ever to start something new, because the world we're in this year is unlike any other before. But we will certainly be asking these questions again. Going forward, and be able to tell you kind of what those tails and how those shifts are looking going forward. So I'm excited that we set this up so we can keep it going.
So do I hear at a minimum this will be an annual event report that we'll get from now on, or
we're going to bring Carol back.
There's going to be some more than that.
Oh, I think we'll have more.
So we will certainly be doing this as an annual feature, and then we will continue to check in with that same consumer panel on an ongoing throughout the year on maybe different topics, not just about their holiday spend. This was obviously a little bit more specific to holiday shopping, but all of that will be findable on the insights portion of our website.
You can't leave until we ask one last penultimate question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's that?
Who's going to win, the Dodgers or the Yankees?
Oh, well, I guess because I'm in New York, I have to say the Yankees, but I grew up in Southern California, so I was raised a Dodgers fan.
Good answer.
Wow, you'll both be losers this time. Okay, Carol, let me say from my personal.
You can come back anytime you want on the show. You pick the date, we'll do it.
I don't know if I don't know if this episode's even going to get published at this point. But in any event, Carol, I can say I've worked with Carol now for over a year. She is a consummate expert when it comes to insights, particularly around user-generated content. She's a joy to work with. She is highly regarded by our clients because she brings such a wealth of expertise and digs into it. I can't tell you how many compliments I've seen from really big CPGs that are investing in analytics on UGC, and it's because of the work that Carol and the analytics team does. So thank you very much, Carol. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I want to remind our audience that if you want to find content from the CPG guys on 15 plus podcast platforms, by the way, if you have a virtual assistant at home, just ask Alexa to play the CPG guys podcast. We'll pop right up. Sri and I are listening to ourselves all day long on our Alexa devices because we can't get enough of ourselves. But give it a try. And if you really love what you're hearing, please go to Apple Podcasts and give us a rating. That's the little stars. So scroll down beyond the episodes, find where the stars are, and just click. And if you click the 5th star, that's a really good star to click. I'm not saying you have to. But go to tinyurl.com/Apple CPG podcast. Carol, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you'll come back. You've been a great guest.
Thanks for having me. This is a treat.
Shri, great episode. Gets all of our brands and retailers all psyched up for the holiday season. Some great learning.
This is the best episode to date because there was a prediction on who's going to win the World Series.
But there is an error factor, and a very wide one.
Since it's coming from somebody who used the word social proofing and get ready for the holidays and put the power in PowerReviews, we know where this is going.
All right, everyone. Thanks again, and we look forward to speaking with you on the next episode of the CPG Guys podcast.
Carol.
Bye, Carol.
Bye, thanks.
The content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from CPG Guys LLC or the individual author, hosts, or guests, nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by CPG Guys LLC. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The views expressed by CPG Guys LLC do not represent the views of their employers or the entity they represent. CPG Guys LLC expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, or inability to use this podcast or the information we present in this podcast.